Source of electricity. No?
Mhm.
Okay, sir. Only 1 minute.
Halima, you have to explain to me about the hazards of electricity. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Sources like from where you can get the electricity. Simple, like basically you have a cell or battery or electric generators. Yes, continue, Halima.
Sir, hazards of electricity like electric shock, like
Yes.
can cause injury or sometimes death.
Okay. It
And
can cause burn. It can cause burn and
for
death. Yes.
electricity,
Hmm.
yeah,
Sir,
skin
and
burns,
what is the
like
source of electricity?
Just 1 minute. Continue, Halima. Let her finish, then will be also answer.
sir, skin burns, like from high voltage contact.
Hmm.
And fire, it can cause fire, like faulty wiring of overloading circuits,
Very
more
good.
like
Oh,
more
hmm,
circuits because of that.
good.
And also equipment damage, like due to power surges.
Hmm. Good. Very good.
Yeah, sometimes also there will be explosions also.
Explosions also. Okay, good. Continue, Ayush.
Sir, source of electricity. Uh, Sir, like source of electricity. Okay. Uh,
Continue. You have got a cell, a battery, electric generators, etc.
no,
Okay,
sir.
no?
Like one problem is there. Like laptop. I'm just continuing, but my voice is not coming to you. Like, that's why. 1 minute, sir. I'm just.
Okay, let's do one thing now. From here, we'll be continuing in the next class as the other class is about to start. Okay. So that's it
Okay,
for
sir.
today's class.
Sir, like source of electricity are like wind power, nuclear power,
Yes,
hydropower, solar, fossil fuel, coal.
exactly. Right. And there's small sources of electricity. You have cell, you have battery, you have electric
Yes, sir.
generators, right? On a large scale, electricity is being produced with the help of the windmills, right? You have thermal power plants are there. You have solar power plants, etc. Okay, so that's it for today's. We'll be continuing from the next class and we'll be continuing the next class with a new chapter. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay
Okay,
then.
sir.
Bye everyone.
Bye,
Bye,
sir.
sir.
Yes, bye. Hafiz. Yes, Ibrahim and Vaika, how are you guys doing?
Good, sir. How are you?
Yes, I'm also good. Okay, I guess I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, just 1 minute. Okay, so we have been doing this chapter light, and we did learn about the working and the construction of the human eye, right? We had learned about different parts of the human eye and how all of them will be working together to give us the sense of vision. All right. So today we are going to learn about the some of the eye defects. Okay. As we age, as a person becomes old, so naturally what happens? The eye lens will become weaker. It will lose its power of accommodation. What we see that our eye lens can shape its size if we have to look at the objects that are kept very far off, or if the objects are kept near to us. Okay, so our eye lens can change its shape in order to enable us to look at far off objects, and also to enable us to look at objects that are kept near to us. But gradually, as we become older, the eye lens loses its power of accommodation. Getting it, guys? So thereby, correction lens are required then. So that is one thing. So because of this, several defects would be arising, which we are going to discuss. Just 1 minute, let me share my screen. So in the previous classes, we had learned about these topics. Here's a Ramesh, how are you? Okay. Some of the interesting things about the human eye we have discussed, that it's the organ responsible for vision, right? It is allowing us to see the world around us, as it will detect the light sensitive cells present on the retina will detect the light, will convert it to electrical signals, and will send it to the brain via the optic nerves, and the brain will interpret those electrical signals in the form of images. Okay, we had learned about the parts of the human eye. We had learned about cornea, the pupil, the iris, the lens, and the retina and the optic nerve. Okay, in the previous class we did also learn about the fluid that is present between the eye lens and the cornea, and the fluid present between the eye lens and the retina. Okay, so their function is usually basically the function of aqueous humor that is present over here, and that of the vitreous humor. Their function is to provide shape and nourishment to the eye. That is what their main function is. We did also learn about blind spot in the previous class, right? Okay. Vaika, you were absent in the previous class. Try to stay regular.
Okay,
Okay.
sir.
Hmm. So blind spot is such a place on the eye where the optic nerve leaves the retina. Okay, no? It's the junction of optic nerve and the retina. So what basically is happening here? The point, the place where the optic nerve is leaving the retina, the photoreceptor cells, respectively, rod and cone cells are absent here. Okay. So when the rays of light will fall on this spot, so there are no light sensitive cells to catch it. Okay, no? So hence the information is not being sent to the brain because there are no rod and cone cells here. So at this spot, you will not be able to look at that object. When the rays of light will fall at that spot where rod and cone cells are absent, we will not be able to look at that object. It also had one small activity in the class with the help of which we learned how we can detect the blind spot. Further, we had learned about the persistence of image on the retina. Okay, Ramesh, you tell me what is the persistence of a image on retina? Retina.
Basically, when our retina looks at an image, it stays for 1/16th of a second before moving on to another image.
Okay, so the reason behind this is that when the rays of light are falling onto the retina, okay, when it falls onto the retina, so the light sensitive cells gets activated, it produces electrical signals and send it to the brain. All of this takes about 1/16th of a second. Okay, now, or we can say that the light sensitive cells will take 1/16th of a second to come back to its original state. Come back to its original state. So that is the persistence of image on the retina. Like when you look at something, for example, when you look at something very bright, so the image of that persists on your eye for 1/16th of a second. I did told you, like if you were to instantly look at something very bright and then close your eyes, it will appear as if the image is still there inside your eye, in the eye. Getting it, everyone? So that is persistence of vision, and that is 1/16th of a second. So that is one thing which we have discussed. Plus, this concept of persistence of vision, was used in the filmmaking also. Is it used nowadays also? Nowadays it is no longer used. Okay, now. So if you were to have still images, you understand now. Still images, basically something which is not moving.
Yes,
So
sir.
if the still images were to be made to move very quickly, so to the viewer, it will appear as if they are moving. Like you might have seen the flip book. If I were to have a flip book, and if I were to make the pages move very fast, it will appear as if the character drawn on the pages of the flip book are in motion. Getting it? No? That is one thing. So in the cinema halls, like the movies that were made earlier, so we had basically still pictures taken, and that was on the cinema roll, like on this film roll, basically still images were taken with the help of the camera, and these still images were made to move at a speed of 24 frames per second were moved. Okay, and that appeared as if the object is in motion. So this is something which we have discussed previously in the class. Now what happens, as I said moments ago, is that as the person will become old, so the person will start to develop certain eye defects. Like few people would be able to look at nearby objects very clearly, but they will have difficulty in looking at objects that are kept very far away from their eye. Okay, or some people would be able to have a better far vision, but in order to look at nearby objects, he or she might require a eyeglasses would be prescribed for that person. Okay, many times we observe that uh, in the islands, in front of the islands, we see that a cloudy layer forms inside of the in front of the islands, and that is called as cataract. Okay, so a person has to get a cataract surgery done in order to get that cloudy layer in front of the islands removed. Getting it? Okay. Many times what will happen, a person will be getting blurred visions. Okay. Or for example, many times person will suffer from such a eye defect in which multiple images of an object will be formed. Okay, if for example, if I am holding this pen in front of me, my eye is healthy, so it appears as if only one pen is in front of him. But to certain people suffering from some eye defect, it will appear as if like 2 or 3 images of this pen will be formed. Getting it, Ramesh, Vaiga, and everyone?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So all these are different kind of eye defects which we are going to discuss about. Okay, now? All right. Let us first discuss about the myopia. Okay. Vaiga, kindly read the paragraph.
Okay, so myopia, also known as nearsightedness, is a refractive error in the eye where a person can see objects up close clearly, but distant objects appear blurry. This happens because the eyeball is too long or the cornea is too curved, causing light entering the eye to focus in front of the retina instead of directly on it.
Exactly. Good. So what is happening here? See, either the lens is too strong. Lens is too strong means that the converging power of the lens is too much. Getting it now? For example, see if the cornea were to become very curved, plus the lens were to become very strong. If the lens becomes shorter, if its curvature decreases, okay, like this, it is thick over here. Getting it? So in this situation, its converging power increases, and look where the rays of light are converging. The rays of light should be converging, should come to meet at a point on the retina now. But where is it converging? See, before the retina, isn't it, Vaika? Isn't it, Ibrahim? Getting it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So either if the lens becomes too strong, okay, or the cornea also becomes very curved, or either the eyeball becomes longer, it becomes elongated in this manner. Getting it? So in both the situations, the rays of light are not meeting at a point on retina. So in this situation, the person will suffer from a condition where he will be able to look at nearby objects very easily. Okay, but he will be having difficulty in looking at objects that are kept far off. It's not like he will not be able to look at it all, but he will not be getting a sharp view. His vision will become blurry. Getting it, everyone, what I'm trying to say. So that is called as myopia. If there happens to be any question from this so far, let me know. Okay. Now further the question is how we can cure this problem. Okay, how we can cure this problem. If you guys recall, we had learned about two types of lenses. What are the two types of lenses?
Concave and convex.
Concave and convex. Very good. Okay. You guys tell me which one is called as a converging lens and which one is called as a concave lens. Oh, sorry, which one is called as a converging lens and which one is called as a diverging lens? I mean to say.
Convex is converging and concave is diverging.
Very good. Okay. See, the rays of light are converging very earlier now. It is converging early. What if we were to diverge it a little bit? What if the rays of light were to made to diverge a little bit, just this much? Suppose this ray of light is made to diverge this much, and this ray of light is also made to diverge this much. Our problem would be solved now, right, Viger? Right, Ibrahim and Ramesh? See, if I were to somehow make these rays of light diverge just a little bit, and this ray of light also diverge just a little bit. Now the rays of light are
Yes.
meeting on a point on the retina.
Yes, sir.
Problem solved or not? It
Yeah.
will be solved. So which lens helps in diverging the rays of light? As you have told moments ago, Ramesh, that is concave lens, no? So thereby, the doctor will prescribe a concave lens as treatment for the myopia. Look over here what is happening here. First of all of you, observe this given diagram. Or you can just give me 1 minute. I really need to take some warm water. Otherwise, I would be coughing a lot in the class. Okay, now I will be back in just 1 minute. Okay. So I'm back. Now see what is happening here. Before, the rays of light were converging at this point. They were meeting at this point, because of which a blur image was being formed. Okay, now we were not getting the sharp view. But with the help of the concave lens, see how the rays of light are now diverging. It has diverged further like this. And now it is meeting at the retina where it should be meeting, right? So for a normal person, the normal vision, a person is able to have a normal vision when the rays of light meets on the retina. But for a person suffering from myopia or nearsightedness or short-sightedness, the rays of light does not meet on the retina, and it can be corrected with the help of concave lens. That much should be clear, I suppose.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it is corrected with the help of a concave lens. And how does it corrects it? How does it corrects? So it will correct as it will make the rays of light to diverge. Okay, now as the concave lens are diverging lens line, right? So it is corrected. This is diverging lens, also called as diverging lens, as it diverges the rays of light that passes across it. Okay, that is one thing. So we see that due to the diverging power, due to the diverging power of the concave lens, we see that the rays of light are diverge and made to converge at the retina. So it diverges the rays of light and makes it converge at the retina, and hence in this manner the problem is solved. Further, what are the causes of this? So there are main two causes for this now. By the way, the other diagram that is over here, that is related to the hypermetropia or hyperopia, which we are going to learn. Okay, now the above two images, the A1 is relevant for myopia. Okay, so not to be confused with this given diagram over here. So the causes were two. The first cause we have discussed, the eye lens becomes too strong. Its converging power increases. So eye lens becomes too strong. So eye lens becomes too strong. What does it refer to? It basically means that the converging power of the eye lens increases. Okay, now converging power, ability to converge the rays of light. Okay, ability to converge the rays of light, that is the converging power. So converging power. Plus also we learned that the cornea can become too much curved. Cornea is too curved. That is the reason. Another reason which we have discussed was elongation of the eyeball. Elongation of eyeball. So that was all about myopia. Ibrahim, you tell me what is another name of myopia?
Short-sighted.
Good. So next we have hyperopia. Sometimes you will also find this written as hypermetropia, written in some textbooks. Okay. Now see what happens. First, I want all of you to observe the given diagram here, and you guys will be telling me what exactly is happening in the given diagram. First, take a look at the lens. The lens is becoming weak. Is it strong or is it weak right now in the given diagram? Yeah, it is weak, because of which it is not able to converge the rays of light on the retina. The rays of light appears to be converging behind the retina. Okay, or you see that the eyeball is too small. So some persons cannot see the nearby objects clearly, although they can see the distant objects very clearly. Some of the person, they cannot see the nearby objects, but they will be able to see the distant objects very clearly. And they are said to have the defect of the eye that we commonly call as hypermetropia or hyperopia. So it is that defect of the eye, or defect of vision, basically we can say defect of eye or defect of vision, same thing, due to which a person cannot see nearby objects clearly, though he can see the distant objects clearly. It is caused either due to the low converging power of the eyelids, or either due to the eyeball being too short. Getting it, guys? These are the two main reasons for hypermetropia. Okay. So in an eye suffering from hypermetropia, the image of the object is formed behind the retina. So if the image is formed behind the retina, the person will not be able to look at the object clearly. So that will give a blurred vision. Getting it, everyone? So it is an eye defect or defect of vision in which the person is not able to look at nearby objects but can view distant objects without any problem. So if a person is able to look at objects kept at if person is able to look at distant object only, right? So this defect, can we call this as long-sightedness or far-sightedness? We can also call it in that manner, isn't it? So it is also called as far or long-sightedness, because the vision of that person is limited up to looking at far off objects only clearly. So that's why we are saying that it is far-sightedness. It is also called as far-sightedness. Okay. So what is happening here? That the converging power is very low. Converging power is very weak here. That is the main cause. Apart from that, the eyeball is becoming shorter in size. So cause number one is low converging power. Low converging power. Next cause was eyeball being too short. Now, if the converging power is decreased here, it is very low. So what kind of lens one should be using? Converging lens or diverging lens? Keep this in mind that the converging power is already low, already very weak. So should
Converging.
we, exactly, right now, so we have to use a converging lens. And which is the converging lens?
Convex.
That is the convex lens. Observe the given diagram and the animation here, right? So in the case of hypermetropia, the image is focused behind the retina, because of which person gets a blurred view. Okay, blurred view. Like, as you guys can see how the rays of light are converging behind the mirror. So where the person will not get a sharp view. So that can be cured with the help of a convex lens. Convex lens, we know that it is a converging lens. It makes the rays of light come to meet at a point. So this defect of vision can be corrected with the help of convex lens. That will help in the converging of the rays of light onto the retina. So it will bring back the image back to the retina. Hence, the eye defect will be cured. Let me know if this is clear to everyone or not.
Yes, sir, clear.
Good. So further, as we know that convex lens are converging lens. So it converges, it helps in converging, so it converges the rays of light on the retina, and hence we can say that, and hence image is brought back to the retina, and hence image is brought back to retina. So that is how a hypermetropia can be cured. Hope that much should have been clear to everyone so far. Okay. Now there is one another problem, one more eye problem. We're going to discuss about presbyopia, but this is the one common problem which we are going to discuss, that is the cataract. So usually this comes in old age. So this defect of, just 1 minute. Okay. See, this eye defect usually comes in old age. It's a medical condition in which the lens of eye of a person becomes cloudy. It becomes cloudy, and that results in a blurred vision. And that is called as a cataract. This condition is called cataract. Now, as you guys can observe in the given diagram also, does the eye lens looks clear and sharp? Observe the eye lens of this person and this person here, and this one over here particularly. So in this one, the eye lens appears as if there's a membrane in front of it. There's a layer of some cloudy structure in front of this. Getting it, Vaika? Getting it, Ramesh? Everyone?
Yes.
Right? So person who is suffering from the cataract, so basically there develops a cloudy layer in front of the eye lens. Okay. Sometimes this layer can be opaque. Okay, and it can be very hard. Few days ago only I happened to watch a surgery video on this. Okay, the cataract removal. So that cloudy layer has almost become hard as rock. Okay, no? So that person was suffering from cataract for a very long period of time. So if this problem is not if the surgery is not done on time, it can become very problematic to get it removed. Okay, and just imagine the very small blades are inserted into this. Okay, no, incision is made over here. Okay, just imagine how sharp and how small size tools are used to get it removed from there. Okay, and how much of precision would be required there, right? So cataract develops when the eye lens of a person becomes cloudy. Even in sometimes it can become opaque also due to the formation of a membrane over it. Okay. So just like when you look through a frosted window or a fogged up a window, you don't get a clear vision. You won't be able to look clearly when you will be looking throughout a window, and that window is fogged up, or it's basically frosted glass used in that window. So you get a blurred view now, right? So for people who have cataract, seeing through the cloudy lenses is a bit like looking through a frosty or fogged up window, and the vision will be looking like this. The person will have a vision like this. Normal person gets a vision like this, but a person suffering from cataract looks at things like this. Getting it now? Okay. Sometimes it can even lead to total loss of vision of the eye. As I said, that it can become opaque also, and it can lead to total loss of vision. So the cause of this is that a cloudy membrane develops. Membrane basically here refers to a sheet-like structure, thin sheet-like structure. Okay, now, so a cloudy membrane develops in front of eye lens. Sometimes it can be very critical that if it were to become opaque, so it can lead to total loss of vision. Earlier, the person would be getting a blurred view, but if it were to become opaque and hard, so the person will lose the sense of vision. Getting it? Now, it This problem can only be restored after getting surgery done on the eye that is having cataract. Okay, so the opaque lens, basically the opaque layer in front of the eye lens, is removed from the eye of that person via surgical operation, and a new artificial lens is inserted in its place. So basically the has become here cloudy basically. So that lens is to be removed here. The surgery will be performed, and this lens that has become clouded, the complete lens is removed by the surgery. But lens is required to have a vision now. So artificial lens is inserted in its place. Getting it? So this problem of cataract cannot be cured with any type of eye correction glasses, neither with the help of convex or the concave lens. It can only be cured with the help of a surgery. Got it, everyone? So it can only be cured via surgery. In the surgery, basically what happens, the lens is replaced with artificial lens. Do tell me if there happens to be any question from this topic. Yes? By the way, you guys didn't ask this question to me, that what is the main cause behind cataract? Why it only occurs in the old age? Yes, Vaiga?
No, sir, nothing.
Yes. See, basically what happens when we are young, so our vision is very clear, the health of the eye is good, everything is good. But as we grow older, particularly after the age of 40, 45, 50, the proteins in the lens of our eye starts to break down and clump together. As we know that every part of the body contains protein, right? Now proteins are called as building blocks, right, Ramesh? Protein are called as building blocks.
Yeah.
Getting it? So as a person becomes older, the protein in the eyelids it starts to break up and it starts to clump together, and this makes a cloudy area on our lens, and that we basically call as cataract. So protein in the eye lens after 40 years of age particularly starts to break and clump together. So that's why if care is not taken, if we are not taking care of the island, so the person can suffer from cataract. So one needs to take certain precautions to avoid cataract. Getting it now? So there are various ways of avoiding cataract. It is also observed that if a person is suffering from high blood sugar, okay, so they can suffer from cataract. If they are smoking a lot, they can suffer from cataract. Getting it now? Also, if the eye gets injured, okay, or the sun rays, long exposure to sun rays can also lead to cataract. So hope that much should be clear to everyone, and that much of thing is, I suppose, sufficient for everyone. Now there are some other eye conditions also, like you have got we have presbyopia. Okay, so in presbyopia, what we see that it basically refers to the gradual loss of the ability of the eyelids to focus on nearby objects that occurs as a natural part of aging. Remember about the hypermetropia, what we have learned. What were the reasons for hypermetropia? Yes, Ibrahim? What are the reasons for a person to suffer from hypermetropia? Anyone?
Um, like when it's too small, when the eye is too
Eyeball
small.
is small. Okay. Next. Eye lens has low converging power, right? Okay. And now that can happen at any age. A person can suffer from hypermetropia at any age. Getting it now? But a person cannot suffer from presbyopia at any age. They cannot suffer from it at a young age. It only occurs during the old age. So
So, like, why?
yeah, because as a person will grow old, so eye lens becomes eye the lens of the eye becomes less flexible. It loses its converging power. It is unable to focus the rays of light correctly onto the retina. Okay, no? So
Okay.
as a person will become old, so we see that our tissues becomes weaker, right now. Bones and muscles and skins, every kind of tissues in the body starts to become weaker. In the similar manner, the eye lens also starts to become weaker, and it is unable to focus the rays of light onto the retina properly. Getting it? So in this situation also the person will lose the ability to focus on nearby objects properly. So you must have seen the old age people, if they don't have a spectacle, okay, so they will be required to look at objects. If they happen to read a newspaper, they will be holding the newspaper very close to their eye, and they will be reading the newspaper like this. Getting it? So that is called as presbyopia, and it occurs as natural part of aging. Okay. And the person who would be suffering from presbyopia, so as I told, they need to hold objects out at arm's length to see them clearly, or you might experience headaches or tired eyes also. That is the case. Apart from that, we have another condition called as glaucoma. Okay. No, see, there are several reasons for this. There is the main reason behind the glaucoma is that what happens if too much of pressure is built up inside the eyeball. Getting at what I'm trying to say? If too much of pressure is built up inside the eyeball, so this will be pressing the optic nerve now. When the pressure will build up, it will gradually start to damage the optic nerve. Optic nerve is very important as it would be carrying the electrical impulses to the brain.
Yes.
Okay. Now the question comes that how can pressure develop inside the eyeball? In order to understand that, we need to know that there are drainage canals in the eye. So what are the drainage canals in the eye? Try to think about this. Mhm.
Like the corner of our eye.
It is the corner of the eye. Very good. Okay. So at the corner of the eyes, particularly, we see that uh, the drainage canal basically is that, for example, if the tear has to come, it will be coming to the drainage canal, right? Or the waste materials, if it gets accumulated near to that drainage canal in our eye. Getting it, guys? So what happens if these drainage canals get blocked? So the fluid will not come out of it. Too much of fluid will be staying inside the eyeball only. Getting it now? If too much of fluid accumulates inside the eyeball, if it does not comes out via the drainage canal. Getting it now? Different kind of fluids comes out via these drainage canals also. Getting it, guys? And it is important that the extra amount of fluid comes out via this drainage canal. Okay. If it does not comes, the fluid will start to accumulate inside the eyeball, and gradually pressure will start to build up. So it will damage the optic nerve here. Getting it what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So that is the case. Okay. Plus, we also see that if there is excess amount of aqueous humor or excess amount of vitreous humor produced inside the eye, so it will return back to our blood so that it does not builds up in the eye and does not create any problem. Suppose, for example, if too much of aqueous humor starts to develop, starts to accumulate, will it be a good thing or bad thing? Yeah,
Bad thing.
bad thing, no, obviously, because it will start to expand the eyeball, and that will create so much of problem. So some of it will go back to the blood. Blood will take it back. Okay, no, blood will take that extra aqueous humor or vitreous humor back also. But if the canal, that pore is blocked, so that will not be going back to the blood, neither it will be coming out of the eye. So because of this, pressure will be created, and hence the person will generally lose the vision and can become blind also if the main structure, that is the optic nerve, were to get damaged. So that is called as glaucoma. Hope you guys are getting that. Okay. Remember in the beginning I said that many times it appears as if multiple images of a given object is being formed.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Or blurred image or distorted vision occurs. For example, for a person whose vision or her vision is normal, they will be getting a sharp view like this. But many times sometimes people can get a vision like this, right? Now this occurs when the cornea or the lens of the eye has an abnormal shape. The cornea or the lens of the eye has abnormal shape. It is not normal, because of which light will not occur in an even manner. Okay, and it will make us difficult to see objects clearly at any distances, and the rays of light will be converging at multiple points onto the retina. Just take a look at what exactly is happening over here. See, now this is the eye of a person. This is the normal eye, basically a healthy eye. Okay, now take a look at the shape of the cornea or the lens. Both of them are curved almost equally here. The cornea or lens, their surface are curved equally, and the rays of light are focusing onto one single point on the retina, and that will give a sharp image, obviously, right, Viger? That will give a sharp
Yes,
point,
sir.
sharp image, I mean to say. But if the cornea or lens surface is not curved equally, like which one is more curved? Observe it. The blue one represents cornea, okay, no? And the yellow one represents eye lens. Which one is curved more?
Islands.
Eye lens. Okay, but they should be curved equally, no? But their
Yes, sir.
shape here is distorted. Getting it? So if one of them is curved too much or too less, because of this, what will happen? The rays of light will be converging at multiple points. Getting now? The rays of light, some of the rays of light are converging at this point, and some of the rays of light are converging at this point also. Getting it? Because of this, multiple images will be formed, but none of them will be sharp. And that will give you a blurred image. Getting it, everyone? That gives you a blurred image, and this problem is called as astigmatism. This problem is called as astigmatism. Okay, no? So in this situation, the person will not, like, he will be getting a blurred view. Okay, the view will be blurred basically. Okay. Hope that much should be clear, right? Ramesh, read the queen paragraph once again.
Astigmat Astigmatism is a common eye condition that causes blurry or distorted vision. It occurs when the cornea or the lens of the eye has an abnormal shape, causing light to enter the eye unevenly. This makes it difficult to see objects clearly at any distance.
Okay. So that is the case of the astigmatism. So hope that much should have been clear to everyone. Okay, now. By the way, there was one small topic of the accommodation of the eye, accommodation of the islands particularly. Okay, so let us quickly discuss that. Then we are going to talk about the vision of like how we can take care of the eye, and the vision in the animals also. Okay, see, the topic is accommodation of the eye. See, accommodation of the eye basically refers to the ability of the eye in order to adjust its shape, adjust its shape in order to look at objects that are kept far off also, or look at objects that are kept nearby also. What do you guys think? Like when you are looking at objects nearby and when you are looking at objects that are kept far off, so during these two visions, the shape of the islands remains same, or does it changes?
I think it changes.
It changes now. Like for example, if I am looking at an object that is kept in front of me, like that is very near to me, like this for example. But if there's a far off tree, right, and I'm looking at that, so the islands have to more stress is being put onto the islands in order to look at objects that are kept far off. So
Yes,
islands
sir.
become shorter. It becomes shorter. But when I am shorter to increase its converging power, but when I'm looking at an object kept nearby to me, so I don't have to put that much of stress on my eyes in order to look at this object. Getting it, no? So islands will remain in the normal position. Okay, no? So like that. So it's a small topic, basically accommodation of the eye. So it refers to the ability of the eye lens to change its shape and enable us to look at distant and nearby objects both. Nearby objects both. So that is the case. Okay. So for example, suppose that this is our eye. This is our eye lens, suppose. These are the ciliary muscles. Now suppose an object is kept very far off. Like for example, this is an object over here. Suppose a tree. And these are the rays of light that is coming from the far off object. Okay. So observe the shape of the islands. Right now, the shape of the islands is it is thicker. Okay, its curvature has increased. It is becoming more curved. Why? If the by the way, if the lens is more curved, its converging power increases or decreases. If it becomes more curved and thicker, so its converging power increases or decreases. Recall this?
Increases.
Increases of exactly. Right now. So by becoming thicker, its converging power increases, and hence the rays of light will be merged onto the retina, and hence image is formed here. But suppose if an object is kept very close to our eyes, for example. Okay. So I'm going to only draw the lens, not the whole picture once again. Okay, no? Try to understand. So this is the shape of the eye lens over here when you are looking at objects that are kept near to your eyes. Okay. So in this situation, like this is the rays of light, and say that this is the retina. Observe the shape of the eye lens here. Is it thicker? Does it need to stress put, or do we need to put more stress into looking at objects that are kept nearby to us? No. So it stays in this shape. Okay, now it does not have to become thicker. The eye lens is thinner right now, and it does not have to converge the rays of light by putting that much of a stress as it has to when it will be looking at far off objects. So this is also called as the near point, like when you are looking near point of eye, and this is the far point of the eye, basically far point of eye. So when we are looking at objects far off, the converging power increases, and that happens when the shape of the islands becomes thicker. It becomes thicker. Okay, and when we are looking at nearby objects, so thereby it becomes thinner. Its converging power decreases, and hence enables us to look at the object. So this is the ability of the islands, that it can change its shape, and due to the change in shape, its converging power can change. Hope that much should be clear. Now there are some few important things. I don't know why, like, the this iPad is not charging. 1 minute. It can turn off at any moment. Okay, see. Now, there are certain things that one needs to do in order to take care of their eyes. First important thing is that one need to wash their eyes at least twice a day with clean water, right? Further, we also know that too little light or too much of light is bad for the eyes now, as the too little uh, light will cause eye strain and headache. And so one should not read or write in a dim light because it puts strain on the eyes and can cause headache. Too much of light, like that when you're viewing at the sun directly, or when you look at the electric welding or the laser torch, so um, that can injure the retina. It can injure the retina and damage the eyes. So we should never look directly at the sun or at any powerful lights. So we should protect our eyes from the glare of bright lights also. Okay, now. So how to take care of eyes? First thing is wash the eyes at least twice a day. At least twice a day. Next, avoid exposure to dim light and avoid exposure to bright light also. Getting it now? Further, always while you're reading something, so always make sure that, for example, if you're reading from a book, so keep the book at normal distance for distinct vision. Okay, now what is the least distance for distinct vision? Anyone? What is the least distance for distinct vision? Like the near point of the eye is how much? 25 centimeter, 35 centimeter, 100 centimeter. What is it? Yes, Ramesh? Anyone?
25 centimeter.
25 centimeter. Good. Okay. So if I have to read a book, so I should put it at a distance of 25 centimeter from the eye. Getting it to get a distinct vision. Okay. So next was avoid exposure to too dim light and bright light also. As we learned that the dim light, it will cause eye strain and can lead to headache. Next, the bright light. What the bright light can do? Which part of the eye will be damaged more?
Retina.
Retina. Very good. Retina can be damaged because of this. Okay. Next, what else we can do? As I said, one should keep the book at normal distance for distinct vision. Right? And do not read by bringing the book too close to your eyes or by keeping it too far from the eyes. So keep book at normal distance while you are reading. That is one thing. Further, you should raise your eyes from time to time while you're reading, writing, or watching television. So just to relax the eye. Like for example, if I were to keep my stuck at this screen for a very long period of time, so I will my eyes will start to pain. Okay, now so I always like look over here and there, because if I were to just focus at one single point for a very long period of time, so it can give eye strain. Getting it? No, that is one thing. Further, one should basically protect their eyes from kind of some injuries, foreign bodies like dust particles and insects. So if something like a dust particle or insect gets into the eye, one should splash the eye with a lot of clean water, and one should not rub the eye with hand in order to prevent further injury. Okay, na? If need be, one should consult a doctor also. Getting it? So that is the case. By the way, you guys tell me, what do we call an eye specialist doctor? Yes. Do we call them a ophthalmologist, something like that? Ophthalmologist, right?
Ophthalmologist.
Yeah. So consult an eye doctor. The eye doctor is called as ophthalmologist in case of eye injury, etc. So these are the things one can take care of. Okay. So hope that much should have been clear to everyone. What is this? Is there some code word written over here? Yes,
Braille.
Vaika? That's the Braille system. Very good. Okay. So the Braille system is basically designed for the person who don't have vision, who are blind right now. Okay. Who invented the Braille system? Any idea?
Louis Braille. Something like that.
Exactly. Louis Braille, right now. So Louis Braille is the inventor of this system right now. So he invented this system of reading and writing for the blind person, for the blind or visually impaired person right now. Okay, so basically this consists of raised dots. Raised dots are over here, and they are used for the purpose of reading and writing, and this system is used till this day. Today also this system is being used. Okay, now so he was basically Louis Braille. He himself was blind. He was not since birth, but he was blinded at the age of 3. So at the age of 3 he was blinded, and he invented this system. um, and he invented this system that is used till this day. It basically has raised dots are there. Raised dots in different patterns are there, and by touching the raised dots we are able to identify the characters. For example, there are there are 2 columns and 3 rows. Okay, if in the topmost in the first column and the third row, from the top, like third row, if this dot is raised, so this means the alphabet is A. So like this, for different alphabets, codes were written in different patterns like this. Getting it now?
Yeah.
In fact, you will find that this Louis Braille, the Braille system is not just for the alphabets, but the Braille system has been written for musical notes also, for the musical notes as well. Getting it now? So it is used to represent music also. For musical notation also it is used. That is the case. Okay. We have just one more topic to be discussed in the class. Okay, that is the eyes of the animal. So in this we will learn that, like, basically one important thing about the eyes of the animal, like how it is different from the humans. Some of the nocturnal animals, particularly nocturnal animals. What is a nocturnal animal, Vaika? The animals that are active during the night.
Right.
Okay. So in order to have a better vision during the night, the cornea is big. Their cornea is big. Okay. Having a bigger cornea is advantageous as it will allow more amount of light to enter. Getting it? Further, they have more rod cells. They have more rod cells in them. Okay. Plus the positioning of the eye in their face is also different. Some of them have eyes on the front of their face. Some of them have it on the sideway of the face. Spiders have got multiple eyes. If you were to look at the eyes of the mosquito, you guys ever thought like how many eyes the mosquitoes have, or the house flies have? They are said to have compound eyes. Mosquitoes and house flies, they are said to have compound eyes. Getting it, guys? The concept of the compound eyes is that, like, there is not just one eye, but there are thousands of the eyes are there. Okay, and all of them would be working together to get the view of the surrounding. Getting it? So all these interesting things we are going to learn in the next classes. Okay, that's it for today's class.
Right, sir.
Just bye.